Hello and welcome to PFP Onboarding. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the lecture slides with you guys for the class from this. So starting off on just general how to join us. So you're going to need to join us on BOILERLINK. You're also going to need to fill out a membership agreement form, which I have attached to this email. So be sure to look for that, fill it out, and then you're going to want to email it back to Grace Drucker, which I've also provided her email. And then additionally, you can optionally add the class. So to join us on BOILERLINK, you just need to go to boilerlink.purdue.edu, search for Purdue First Programs, and then click the join button that you'll see. Additionally, if you want to join one of our sub-teams, we're going to be doing sub-team interviews, and that's going to be from starting the 19th until the 25th. So we have our 4 FRC sub-teams, our FTC sub-team, our FLL sub-team, and then regional, PR, IT, and IR as 4 more sub-teams. So kind of be thinking about which one you're most interested in, and then just once we send out the sign-up form, be sure to sign up for a time slot. And so that way you can get interviewed and get placed on a sub-team if that's something you want to do. Most people in PFP do join a sub-team. I will give that as a heads up. Additionally, if you want to add the first leadership class, it's a 2-credit-hour class for the School of Mechanical Engineering. We basically just do various leadership and first workshops and some fun stuff sprinkled in. It's 6 to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays, and the requirements for it are you must be part of a sub-team, so you're going to go to that hour meeting once a week. You also have to come to the class, which is, again, an hour once a week, and then you're required to get 15, we call them PF points. Those are basically any sort of hours outside of your designated sub-team or class. So if you go to like an event and volunteer, you can get hours from that, and each hour is just a PF point. I will say this, you can't get more than 5 PF points per event. So if you volunteer for 15 hours at an event, you still would only get 5 points from those. It's basically just to make sure that our members are getting varied types of experiences, but even just coming to our social events and stuff like that. Like if you come with us to a movie night, there's 2 PF points right there. So it's pretty easy to get them, nothing too strict regarding those. And that's just 15 points for the entire semester. So you have a while to get them too. Additionally, you do have to fill out monthly evals, which are basically just like a short survey of you kind of evaluating yourself and evaluating your directors. We kind of go based off of a very much so improvement approach with these, but then it's basically so that we can make sure that you're not just showing up to your sub-team meetings, that you're actually being an active member, and then we can make sure that your director's doing a good job as well. That way, if they're struggling, we can make sure to help them become a better leader. So some of the things that we use, first off, is Slack. I don't know if you have experience with Slack, but it's basically just like a communications channel. So as you can see, there's different channels depending on kind of different various group chats dedicated to different things. There's a New Kids on the Block, which is going to be for all of you new onboarded members. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and send them there, because I figured if some people have questions, a lot of people have questions. And then there's also a direct messaging feature with Slack if you ever want to just message an individual directly. But there's an app as well for your phone as well as your desktop. So both of those are pretty darn good. And we will get you added to this once we get your member agreement form and you are added on BOILERLINK. Basically, it's just that way we grab your email, then you'll be getting a notification on like how to sign up and everything. Additionally, we use Google Drive. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with how it works. If not, it's very, very user-friendly, but that's kind of how we store all of our files for PFP. So we usually just have like a folder dedicated to each sub-team, so you will also be added to that. Additionally, we use Trello, which if you look at the other attached video on this, it should be labeled as like resume prep, but the very start of it is actually a little like tutorial on how to use Trello that our treasurer Daniel did. So I'd recommend taking a look at that. Additionally, if you want to sign up for the class, you're going to need to do this on My Purdue. You do it the way you would register for any other class. So you would go to registration, then go to your scheduling assistant, then go to course requests, add ME29700E even, which stands for evening because it's an evening class, and it should also be labeled as like first leadership. So when you see that, you know you're selecting the right one. And then if you hit build schedule, you'll see it kind of implemented into your schedule. And then to actually submit it, you would do the submit schedule. And it will require signatures from your advisor as well as our instructor of the class, which is Dr. George Chu. So if you struggle with that, let me know and I can help you out with it. I will say this, if you choose to drop the class, you will also, or if you choose to drop PFP, you will also need to make sure that you drop the class because it is a requirement for being in the class. That way you just don't run into any issues where you would get like a poor grade or anything like that. So make sure that you're pretty committed to being part of PFP if you plan on signing up for the class. So going into subteam interviews, as I mentioned, it's the 19th through the 25th, and we'll be sending out time slots for that. I will say it's not like an interview. Like we're not going to be grilling you on questions or anything like that. It's really just trying to gauge your interest, figure out a good sub team fit for you, and kind of get to know you guys a little more, and then allow you to get to know us so that you kind of feel like you're more of a member already. They're also super quick. They're only going to be 15 minutes. We're going to be hosting them in walk, but we will also provide like an online version if you don't want to walk all the way across campus for a 15-minute interview. I use quotes. And then additionally, you don't need to dress up. It's going to be super casual. It's going to be the officers and as many directors as we can get out there so we can kind of find a good fit for you and make sure you're comfortable on your sub team. And so that is all I had for information on this. So I will be sure to attach to this email the other video that has a little more information about Trello, as well as the member agreement. So make sure that you fill that out and send that to Grace. It's basically you just certifying that you agree to like the rules in our constitution and bylaws. But yeah, thank you for coming out, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.